Well, I have to say that I've been saying this exact thing for quite a while now, and I finally got a big content creator going out there and saying the same thing. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk a little bit about the video that Konstantin Kisin just put out. If you guys watch my content on a regular basis, you know that I have mixed opinions about him because on the one hand, yeah, he's not afraid to speak his mind, and for the most part, he's generally trying to go after the truth. But at the same time, when he gets into arguments with people, the way he handles it is just not kosher to me. But whatever, it is what it is. The thing I want to talk about today is that I do absolutely 100% agree with everything he said in this video. Now, their rise to success and all of that, you know, that's not the focus of what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is the audience's responsibility for the content that they consume and the follow-on effects of watching content solely because of the shock value. Now, for a very long time, we have been browbeaten into believing certain narratives because the media has been captured, the traditional official media has been captured for a very long time, probably since the very beginning. And now we live in a time where you have so much choice and you have access to so much different information. But we've all been captured by this addiction to sensationalism. It's this addiction to needing to keep an eye on all the things that are happening. And when things seem like nothing is happening, we need something to come along and capture our attention. And for a while now, for quite a while now, I've made several videos talking about how it is our responsibility as viewers to, you know, keep the proper perspective on the different things that are happening, not listening to people who have a specific agenda where they're trying to convince you to think a certain way or believe a certain way. Because you can kind of tell the difference when you're watching a content creator who is just telling you what they think versus trying to feed you a narrative. Sometimes it's harder to see than others, but most of the time when you see somebody saying something in a certain way, you start to feel like, wait a minute, they're trying to convince me of something. They're not just telling me what they think. They're presenting this in a way that's meant to convince me, not just inform me. There are a few content creators out there who really are genuinely just trying to, you know, let you see what people think. Joe Rogan is obviously as popular as he is because he goes out of his way to not, you know, push a narrative, to not tell you what he thinks all the time. I mean, he'll let you know every once in a while if he's particularly passionate about a subject. But he goes out of his way to try to just give you information and to allow his guests to just give you information without trying to like curate it in any way. And I have to say, that's one of the biggest reasons why he's interesting to watch. It's not just because Joe Rogan is a comedian and he's interesting. It's because he goes out of his way to provide you with people to listen to without filtering them, right? One of the big things that we as viewers really need to remember is that what he says here, what you click on does matter. What you watch does matter. What you choose to consume does matter. And I would like to liken your viewing habits on social media to your diet. If you're watching a bunch of sugary, sweet, really impactful, in-your-face stuff all the time, if that's all you can watch, then all you're ever going to get is a bunch of garbage. And it's really important that you try to find content creators who are, you know, trying to provide you with something genuine. Number one, you want it to be genuine, but you also want it to be somewhat reflective, somewhat thoughtful, somewhat preferably from a different point of view from your own. You want to find people who think differently than you do so that you can broaden your horizons and maybe think about things a different way. I can tell you that my journey on YouTube for the last 15 plus years, because I have generally tried to go out of my way to not just listen to one group of people, my opinions have changed. My opinions have matured. My thought processes have evolved to a point where things I thought were very certain things 15 years ago just aren't anymore because I know more and because I've been exposed to different kinds of people. I watch channels that, you know, where I know that they're on the other side of the aisle from me. Channels like Knowing Better, channels like The Young Turks, channels like, there was another one I was thinking of and it just popped out of my head. In addition to, you know, some of the more right-wing stuff like Tucker Carlson and, you know, back when I used to watch Jordan Peterson and things like that. It's a good thing to expose yourself to myriad different forms of information, myriad different viewpoints of perspectives, and all of those things. And it's important to not allow yourself to go down a road where you're locking yourself into one specific viewpoint. It's important that you allow yourself to consume content that may not be the flashiest, but actually has some kind of intellectual or emotional or maybe even spiritual value to you, because that's what's actually good for your soul. It's what's good for your psyche. It's what's good for, promoting a healthy discourse online. I know that I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but I know that when I sit down to make a video, I don't sit down and make a video with the expectation that what I say is going to be super crazy, interesting, and sensational. It's not what I'm going for. What I'm going for is something that is thoughtful, that provides maybe a different point of view from what most people are saying, or at least from what you might have been thinking about whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm hoping that as I continue to make videos on this channel, aside from my gaming channel, which is growing as it's growing, I'm hoping to build this channel into a place where I can come on and share my perspective on different things, and maybe it provides you with some kind of a value in the form of making you rethink a little bit about what you thought about an issue. So I have to say that I agree with what Konstantin is trying to say here. You as the viewer, I as a viewer, have a responsibility to make sure that we're not just going after content that we find, it needs to be interesting, but it doesn't need to be super stimulating. And unfortunately, the algorithm really is trying to go after you to find you super stimulating, high sugar content to keep your eyes focused on the screen and not necessarily provide you with the nutritional value that your brain needs to develop into a mature thinking, critical thinking person. So I'm hoping that I, as a content creator, when I make these videos and providing that kind of nourishment for your brain when I do that, I'm not necessarily trying to educate you, and I'm not even trying to change your point of view. I'm just trying to provide you with a hopefully thoughtful and critically thought out perspective that's based on my 40 plus years of existence in this world, constantly looking at different things and analyzing and, reshifting my thought processes as I age. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. Hopefully when I make these videos, you get something out of them. Be sure to click that like button and help us reach, and hit the subscribe button to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers, so that hopefully this channel, much like the success that he's talking about, can grow into some fraction of what some of these other channels have, and I can continue to provide you with my thoughtful, hopefully rational viewpoints on issues as we move into the future. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.